So we are going to create the ball for the ball bounce, and to do this we have to actually put a bone through it. So I'm going to hit X on the keyboard because that pulls up this thing to delete, or you can hit the little delete key on your keyboard. So I'm going to go up to add, I'm going to go mesh, and I'm going to go UV sphere, and then I could do the same thing by going to add, but I'm going to go shift A. And this is the same thing, like I can add a mesh here, but I'm going to go armature, I'm going to go single bone. I'm going to go down to this orange viewport to get to viewport display, to turn it on to front and turn it on to wire. And then what we're going to do is we're going to parent the sphere to the bone. So the child gets selected and then the parent gets selected last. So the parent needs to be the bone. So we're going to go sphere, holding shift on the keyboard and clicking the bone. Control P, like for parent. We want automatic weights. We want that clicked on. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of going back and forth between object mode and edit mode. So first we're going to click on our sphere. We're going to click on edit mode. And we want to rotate down towards the bottom and just click on the one point at the very bottom. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it's at the bottom. We're going to click on Shift and S. And we want this bottom one that's cruiser to select it. So now it put that cruiser that's normally here at the center down at the bottom. And here we go again, switching back, object mode, clicking on the bone, and then going back to edit mode. We want to have the bottom selected, shift A now. That gives us two bones to work with. So again, back to object mode to select the sphere, back to edit mode to get the top point of the sphere, shift S again, and then again, the bottom one, select a cruiser, so the cruiser goes to the top, object mode, click on the bones one more time, edit mode. So we're going to hide this top bone. To do that, you hit H on the keyboard. That hides it. And then we want to click, this is the tail end of a bone, or this is the top end of a bone. And I know it looks like it's upside down, but that's just how it is. The smaller point is the tail. We're going to hold Shift S again. And now we're going to go up here to the select to cruiser, and it'll pull that bone to make it longer and fit into our sphere. So I'm going to quickly bring back our other bones. So to do that, you hit Alt and H on the keyboard. That brings back the hidden bone. I want to click on this bone right here. And instead of it being bone 1-1, this is going to be the deaf bone. And usually this one's deaf. Interesting. I must have accidentally been on that bone. So we want the smaller bone. The smaller bone is deaf bone. And this longer one, we're going to name stretch. Oops. Stretch bone. And we have to actually go back to this one because I got a 001. I don't want a 001. Okay. Hitting 3 on the keyboard. I have a number pad on the side, so I'm going to hit that number pad. And again, I want to hide the deaf bone while I'm doing these two things. I'm just zooming in a little bit and then hitting 3 again so I can see this. So we want the tail of the bone, and we're going to go Shift E for extruding. I like to hit Y on the keyboard because then it keeps it straight on the Y axis, and I like to keep it roughly, along the same width of the sphere. So we're going to actually take the 001 and name it top. And then we're going to go down to this tail end, hitting that circle, and then again, Shift E for extruding, Y on the keyboard, pulling it roughly the same size. This 001 will be bottom. And again, Alt H to bring back the definition, but we need to now hide the stretch bone so we can get to this central point here. That makes it easier if we have that hidden. Again, Shift E, extruding, Y on the keyboard to pull it straight on the Y axis. And this one is going to be center. And then we can, again, Alt H, bring that back. So now we're going to parent about 3 times. So we're going to set up these 3 bones to be parented to this one. This bone's going to be parented to this one, and then this bone's going to be parented to this one. So clicking on this one, holding Shift on the keyboard, clicking on the next one, and then hitting this middle one. So Control P, again, remember, means to parent. We want this offset. If we connect it, then they're going to be on top of each other. We want them to stay where they are, so offset. So we're going to click on the stretch bone, click on the bottom bone, again, Control P, offset. And then we're going to click on our definition bone. We'll click on our stretch bone, Control P, offset. You want to make sure that the dotted line that shows up is only in our definition bone, not our stretch bone. So having just the stretch bone highlighted, we're going to go into pose mode. And we want to go down to this one. This is our bone constraint properties. And we want to, so you want to make sure that it says armature and stretch bone, because there is this one, but we don't want to get it confused. We want just this one. We're going to go bone constraint, tracking, and then stretch bone, or stretch 2. So our target is going to be our armature, and our bone is going to be our top bone. So when we click on our top bone, and we hit G, because G means move, and we hit Z for the Z axis, you'll see our bone will stretch. I'm going to Control Z to make it a complete circle. And that is how you add bones to a sphere so you can stretch and squish it. Go ahead and go File, Save, and make sure to save it where you can. And then the next video will be how to use this to create your ball bounce.